All right, students, welcome back to campus, University of Radlands, our Radlands 101 theory classes. We're doing an advanced theory course on parachute base, one of the camps that maybe had more questions about it when people first kind of read it. So let's go over it here. Parachute base, one card at the beginning of the turn. For 0 water, you play a person and use their ability. You must pay for both. Then you damage that person. All right, so let's break this down. The great thing about this game is you just follow things line by line. So let's say we have a person, which is not that card right there. Here's a person we want to play from our hand. So this ability is 0. So we need to signify that we're using this card because we can only use abilities once per turn. So we're going to put a not ready token side on this card for 0 water, so no cost. What does cost, though, is we play a person. We pay for that person. We then have to pay for their ability and use that ability. So we pay for both. So 1 water to play Gunner. 2 water for his ability, which is injure all unprotected enemies. So the enemy or your opponent would then injure anything that's unprotected. That's a person. Then we come back to parachute base and we damage that person. So pretty straightforward. Like I said, we just follow things line by line. So we're going to use parachute base. We pay for a person. We pay for their ability. And then we go back to parachute base and finish parachute base. We injure them or damage them. Now, there's a few cards or people that kind of make this ability a little bit more confusing. So a Gunner was just an example of using a regular person. You know, if we were to use Vigilante, hey, I'm going to use parachute base. So, hey, we play the person and use their ability. I'm going to pay for both, period. So we go to the person. We play Vigilante. We pay for the ability. We injure an opponent's person. We come back to parachute base. Then we damage that person we just played. So Vigilante is then injured. Now, maybe a more confusing card or one that seemed to have a lot more questions. Hey, opponent, I'm going to use parachute base and we're going to bring out a wounded soldier. So now we're going to fully resolve wounded soldier before parachute base. So we pay for the person. Wounded soldier cost 1. We pay for his ability. It cost 1. We get to damage any opponent's card that's unprotected. So a camp or a person. Now we have to finish fully resolving wounded soldier. When this card enters play, we get to draw a card. We then damage this card. So that's fully resolving wounded soldier. We now have to come back to parachute base and finish resolving the ability that we paid for here. Then damage that person. Well, he's already damaged himself once. He is damaged again. So that's kind of where it gets a little confusing. So again, we're going to use parachute base. We pay for the person, pay for the ability. Wounded soldier lets us draw a card. He damages himself to do that. Then parachute base is also going to damage him. He just goes straight to the discard. It's going to be a very similar idea with mutant. Hey, opponent, I'm going to use parachute base. I have to pay for mutant to play him. His ability is a 0 cost ability, so we can just signify we're doing the ability with a not ready symbol. He can damage and or restore, so he can do one or the other or both. But then, because his ability is 0, he damages himself. Well, now we've fully resolved mutant, so we have to come down to parachute base and finish resolving parachute base. So we've stopped at the period. Now we are then damaging that card. Mutant is then also destroyed for the turn. Another one that might be a little confusing is rescue team. We could play rescue team for 1 and use their ability and return one of your people to your hand. We could then return a rescue team to our hand if we wanted, and then the rest of parachute base would fizzle. I don't know why you would do that. I was just giving you another example of a card that interacts a little differently than a normal person with parachute base. So there it is. Like I said, pretty straightforward with the game. Follow everything just sentence by sentence, and you'll be good to go. If you have any other questions about other components of the game or more of the unique people, be sure to check out my other videos. And as always, stay thirsty, punks.